In blended learning, we can package and deliver our content differently, so that way we're not giving our instruction to our students in a lecture format, but a different format or medium. Students can then, at their own time, go through that content or material, and you can spend your time differently working with your students. We call this flipped instruction. In this video, we're going to be looking at one of the key components of flipped instruction, and that is screencasting. We would use screencast software when we're going to produce our own instructional content. So in this blended learning experience, we'll dive into screencasting. Welcome to Screencasting Exposè. The first thing we're going to look at is the profile of flipped content. What does flipped content, or I should say quality, effective, good content look like? Well, if we're talking about flipped videos, the video is going to be about a 3 to 8 minute video. It'll be about a specific topic, subject, or content. You're going to have the learning objectives or the goals or the outcomes are going to be stated at the beginning of the video, so the students know what they're going to be able to accomplish by the end of the video. Your audio and video quality should be the best it can be. For example, I'm using an external microphone to increase my audio, not that you have to. I just have chosen to do that. If your internal microphone is of good quality, feel free to definitely use that. Focus on your proximity of you to your microphone to make sure it helps boost the quality and the volume. Don't rock back and forth. It'll adjust your volume level up and down. I'm recording in 1080 HD, so make sure you're recording in HD and not 720 to give it a clear HD image. Use some multimedia, so I'm using text with images, and I'm using audio narration in a video format. The quality of the content in the video was the focus, not the aesthetics. So I'm really focusing on the quality of my content, and here, that's what I'm doing here. This content that you're getting is my focal point. I'm not focused on transitions or special effects or the video itself. It's just the content that is my focus. And I say that for a couple of reasons. If, for example, you are in a face-to-face situation with your students and you misspeak, you're probably not going to start all over again. You're going to excuse yourself, you're going to apologize for misspeaking, and you're going to continue. You're not going to be perfect. Same thing with screencasting. Don't get so hung up on every word being perfectly pronounced and articulated, and you don't have any mishaps or mistakes. That's going to naturally happen. And if you're so focused on your words in your recording being perfect, you may spend a long time recording. So again, it's the content is your focus. If you have some aesthetics that aren't, something that you're totally happy with, or you misspoke a couple of times, you can edit that out, or you can just accept it and ask yourself, was the content good? Did I nail that part? And then accompanying resources provided, if applicable, anything you can provide that goes along with your content, like note-taker sheets or a quick little comprehension activity, something like that. You want to provide that to your students as well, along with the content. We're looking at 3 screencasting software applications that are approved in Wake County. There's actually 4. OBS is not listed here. That's really more for advanced screencasting. If that's something you're interested in, contact your digital learning coordinator. We're just going to look at these 3. These are the staples in our county: Screencastify, Screencast-O-Matic, and Canvas Studio. Really, it's arbitrary what you record with. You want to deliver the content to your students. But let's go ahead and look at some features just to get an idea. If we're looking at time limit, a good ballpark, that 3 to 8 minute ballpark goal is nice to hit, but if Screencastify is cutting you off at 5 and you're hitting 6, 7, or 8 every time, that's going to be kind of something that's not going to be very efficient for you. So you may want to consider something without a time limit like Canvas Studio, or an increased time limit like Screencast-O-Matic. Annotations. As at this moment, I don't believe Screencastify has annotations. I know they just added quiz questions. Maybe they've added annotations since I've last checked, but at the moment I'm going to say no. Yes on Studio, no on Screencast-O-Matic. And you can add quiz questions to Screencastify and Canvas Studio. if I'm going to train anyone or advise anyone on what to use, I'm just going to go ahead and point them to Canvas Studio. Even if you use Google Classroom as your learning management system, you can use Studio just for the video component. It does an awesome job, has some great features. Let's look at those features. You can store your videos there. You can provide insights, which are basically looks into your students that were assigned the videos. Did they watch the videos? How much of the video did they watch? Did they scrub through any of it? Did they skip anything? Custom descriptions. If you like YouTube videos, but there's things about the descriptions that kind of caution you or make you not want to use that video, you can customize and edit that entire description, get rid of everything they said and replace it with your own words. It's a great feature. Check that out. You can add tags to videos to help them be searchable down the road. Of course, you can record video, and you can add annotations and quiz questions to Studio. So I would definitely check out Studio. If you need support with Studio, contact your digital learning coordinator. Here's some best practices that we're going to go over. We're going to go over each of these individually. Let's go ahead and dive into planning. So planning, you want to explicitly state your goals and objectives. You want to have that. That's what everything is really focused and built around. You want to chunk that content, even if it means multiple parts just to cover one topic. Chunk that out. Use multimedia, like here you're seeing text with images or graphics, and you have audio accompanying it. Structure. Have a structure to your screencast. Maybe you have that, introduction of the objectives. Then maybe you have a overview. Then maybe you go into a time of lecturing or delivering the content. And then maybe you have comprehension break or processing break or whatever it may be. Come up with a structure and go through that flow of that structure with your students. And then resources, provide those if applicable. So if you have anything that can accompany, provide that. If you mention it, provide it. So don't reference something and then not provide it. For example, don't reference a website without providing the link. Don't reference a text that you are pulling from without providing a link to that if possible. Because we want to have everything accessible on demand at our fingertips or at their fingertips. We want to make it as easy as possible to access all of the content, material, and resources. Don't make them have to dig or search for it. And then build in work time. So maybe actually have yourself saying, okay, pause the video here and do such and such. Give them those cues so that way they will pause, they'll process, they'll do the work and resume. Or maybe it's work they do afterwards. But build in that work time. And let's take a look at the flow. You just want it to be something that just goes smooth. Again, that duration, that 3 to 8 minutes is going to feel just like a nice duration for your students. And they wanted to get to the end of that and feel like they comprehended what was there. And the flow of what you do is going to help that. And being prepared is going to help you have a nice flow. Content is the focus. Again, don't get hung up on being perfect in your delivery, although delivery is something we're going to talk about, but just stay focused on that content. Recording, you want to have clean audio, so you want to make sure that your microphone doesn't have any kind of crackling noises. Maybe your microphone is working fine. If you can or want to use a external audio mic, that may be something you look at. Control any ambient noises, eliminate those. Make sure your duration of your recording, you may have to time yourself. Rehearse a couple of times. Pausing is really important because editing can save you. I've made it through this video with just one mishap, which I'm going to have to go and edit back out. But what I did is I took a pause. And that pause is an edit point. So everything after that pause is what I may redo. But everything before that pause is in the can, is done, is captured. So pausing can help you if you're going to be editing. And then, of course, integrate multimedia like I'm doing here with these text mixed with images and audio narration. And of course, your delivery. Delivery is your tone, your cadence, your enthusiasm, your excitement, you're being personable, you're relating to the students. All those little variables that go into delivery are things that you want to pay attention to as you're recording. Student interactions. Try to be creative. It doesn't have to be real extensive. Provide them something to interact along with the content. It's going to help them with the learning process. And the last thing we'll say is video editing. You have several video editing applications available to you. So if you need help with that, reach out to your digital learning coordinator. But what I'll say is that you can add titles. I like to always have a portion of my video with my webcam on. So I'm talking to my audience, trying to make that connection. I do tend to have my slides shown a lot. You may want to have your webcam on at the same time, but I edit out where I do misspeak. Doesn't happen very often, but at least I know I have the comfort of that as a backup. So I did fairly well this particular recording. I just have 2 spots to edit out. I adjust my volume. So even though I have an external microphone with gain control, I still find that volume isn't quite at -6 decibels, which is our goal in audio recording. So I bump that up a little bit, clean it up, put a nice little intro on there, and kind of help with branding as well, focusing on colors and things of that nature, or a logo, that kind of thing. Because you're making these videos not just for now to squeak through and survive, but you are building up your library, and these are going to be usable in the future, next year and beyond. So that is a quick look at Screencasting Exposè.